For hundreds of years, they laughed at Earth. In the great halls of alien empires, humans were a joke. On alien comedy channels, Earth's old wars, strange languages, and clumsy machines were played for laughs. Children of the Krex Empire War, rubber human masks on Mocking Day. Zorth would sit in giant stadiums and watch actors pretend to be humans, always running, screaming, falling. They called Earth the dirt rock. They called humans soft skins. They never feared Earth, not even once. But Earth heard everything. At first, humanity did not react. They stayed quiet. They acted small. They signed trade deals, sent diplomats, and smiled in the photos. They shook hands with the same claws that crushed their pride. But not all humans forgot. Hidden deep in Earth's dark oceans, under the burning deserts and inside orbiting black stations, something was being built. It was not shown to the public. It was not posted on EarthNet. It was silent, secret, sharp. Not even Earth's allies knew what was happening. Then came the day everything changed. On cycle 474.14 of the Galactic Standard Calendar, a human diplomat named Ambassador Rowan Park was invited to speak at the Galactic Peace Summit. Billions watched. The arena was packed. He stepped forward calmly, wearing the Earth Republic emblem on his chest. He began to speak about peace, about working together, about stopping the mockery. Then a plasma spike shot through his chest. The crowd gasped, a Sarnax noble laughing. Wildly had fired the weapon. Security bots moved slowly, almost pretending not to see. Blood poured from the human's body as he fell on live broadcast. His last words were, "You laugh now, but Earth is listening."
Ow.
The camera feed was cut. Some laughed, some cheered. Others were confused, but Earth did not respond. No warning, no message, no military movement, just silence. For one day, then Earth shut down all contact. No messages came through. Trade signals stopped, embassies closed, satellites turned away. Every human station in alien space went dark. The silence was louder than any war cry. Alien leaders expected a statement. Nothing came. They sent messages. "We apologize. It was a mistake. It wasn't us. We will punish the..." Killer Earth never replied. Galactic news anchors argued for weeks. Some said Earth was weak, that they were too scared to fight. Others said Earth was planning something. Quiet planning was always more dangerous than loud threats. Then something strange happened. A Zarth spy ship entered Earth space. It went dark within 1 hour. No distress call, no beacon. Just gone. A week later, Krek's scout drone vanished near Mars. Then a Sarnax cargo ship entered the asteroid belt and disappeared. Still, Earth said nothing. Fear began to spread. Alien media began changing their tone. No more jokes, no more laughter. Artists stopped painting Earth with silly faces. Even mocking songs were pulled from the networks. Why? Because the silence was terrifying. The galaxy had made one mistake. They forgot humans were watchers, listeners, learners, and worst of all, they were patient. From the beginning, Earth had studied every enemy. They memorized alien weaknesses, technology, culture, battle styles. Every insult became a lesson. Every laugh became fuel. They never forgot, they never forgave. And now, they were done pretending in a dark command room inside Earth's moon base, only known as Silent Cora. A woman named General Alara Voss stood watching a black hologram of the galaxy. She gave no speech, no anger, just a whisper. We gave them time to learn respect. They wasted it. She turned to her soldiers. They were not like the old Earth armies. These soldiers had no names, no faces. Their bodies were enhanced, their eyes replaced with scanning lenses, their blood cooled with nanites. They were the product of 50 years of secret evolution. The Ghost Division, created for one reason, to respond, one by one. The ghosts loaded into stealth ships. No lights, no sound. They didn't march, they moved like shadows. Their mission was clear. They would not attack planets yet. It's not cities. No. They would take out only those who mocked, silently, brutally, without a single message, and always leave. Behind one thing, a small black cube. Cold. Metal. With a glowing human eye carved into it. On the back, 3 words. We remember everything. The galaxy had seen many wars. It had watched suns explode, planets burn, and fleets clash for centuries. But never and ever had it seen silence like this. Earth did not speak. Earth did not attack openly. Earth did not beg for justice. And that scared the stars more than any army ever could. In the Krex capital, the High Council was in emergency session. Elder Zuran, who once laughed at human poems on live television, now sat pale and sweating. A hologram flickered beside him. It was a report. Another Krex general had vanished. His private cruiser, the Sky Talon, found floating in space. With no crew, just one black cube placed on the control panel. How many does that make? Elder Zuran whispered. 7, his assistant answered. All dead. No signs of struggle, no damage to the ships, just gone. The council chamber was quiet. That never happened. In the past, the Krex laughed at Earth's small size in strange ways. But now their elite officers were dying silently, one by one. Earth still hadn't said a word. They tried sending diplomats to Earth. None returned. They tried sending messages through secret channels, no reply. They even offered public apologies, still dashed nothing. And then it happened again. In the cold space around planet Traga, the Sarnax warlord who killed the human ambassador was found. Or rather, what was left of him. His body was floating in a sealed stasis pod. Eyes removed, tongue cut out. A small black cube glued to his chest. The cube glowed red and spoke just 2 words in Earth's old language, still laughing. The video spread like wildfire across galactic networks. Panic followed. Nations that once mocked Earth began locking their doors. Spaceports were shut down. Borders closed. Even the Zoreth Empire, once proud rulers of 3 spiral arms, recalled their ships from Earth's zone and destroyed all communication. Satellites nearby, they thought cutting contact would stop the attacks. It didn't. The Ghost Division didn't need signals. They were already there. Deep inside alien cities, hidden in shadows, walking among crowds, watching, waiting, listening. One Zoreth general, known for performing human comedy nights. At royal dinners, was found in his tower room. No broken windows, no forced doors, just a clean slice across his throat. On his desk, someone had scratched 3 words. We saw everything. The galaxy began to break, not from war but from fear. People stopped going outside at night. Leaders used body doubles. Comedians were arrested for telling Earth jokes. Anyone caught mocking humans was labeled high risk by their own governments. Still, Earth did not answer. Still, Earth said nothing, and that silence drove everyone mad. At a secret meeting on the moon of Drell, 11 species came together. They called it the Shadow Treaty. We must do something, said Grand Leader Rith of the Feriac. Earth is not responding to reason. Their silence is the weapon. They are turning us against ourselves, added the Volan Queen. People live in fear of a shadow that doesn't even speak. Someone suggested attacking Earth directly. Everyone in the room froze. No, said the Zorath diplomat, eyes wide. Attack Earth now, and you won't see tomorrow. Everyone knew he was right. No one wanted to admit it, but Earth had become untouchable. Not because of power, but because of mystery. Earth didn't show its weapons. It didn't make speeches. Didn't ask for help. It waited and watched back on Earth, inside a cold black command room beneath Antarctica. General Alara Voss reviewed the reports. A silent screen scrolled. Target 47 eliminated. No witnesses. Cube deployed. Silence maintained. Ichi turned to Commander Rix, the leader of the Ghost Division. Are they scared yet? She asked. They're shaking, Rix replied. But they still don't understand. Good, Alara said. we're not done. Meanwhile, back in the galactic core, something unexpected happened. A young alien prince from the peaceful, relaxed species held a public conference. His name was Threnell. He stood before his people and said, "We mocked the wrong species. Earth did not need to fight back with noise. They used the one thing stronger patience." The speech went viral. Millions watched. It was the first public apology made with tears and fear in the speaker's eyes. But Threnell's speech never reached Earth, because Earth was no longer watching alien channels. Earth had moved to Phase 2. It was time to make the galaxy ask one terrifying question. How much do they know about us? The galaxy had waited in fear. For months, Earth said nothing. No warning, no message, just silent strikes in the dark. But that silence ended now, and when it ended, the galaxy wished it hadn't. It started on Varnak Prime, a shining capital, known for music, trade, and laughter. One clear night, the skies above the Grand Tower turned black not with clouds, but with ships, hundreds of them, black, silent, without lights. No weapons shown, no shields up. Just there the people froze. Then in every corner of the galaxy, something terrifying happened. Every screen, military, civilian, private, even underground systems suddenly blinked. Static, and then a single video appeared everywhere at once. It showed an old Earth city in ruins. Rubble, fire, smoke. Children crying. Soldiers pulling bodies from the streets. A voice began to speak. It was female, calm, cold, for centuries. You mocked us. You enslaved our people. You poisoned our air. You called us weak. Images changed, Dalian kings laughing at human prisoners, scientists experimenting on Earth soldiers, warlords turning Earth into a colony. The voice continued. You laughed at our pain. You laughed at our deaths. You laughed while we buried our future. Now, the video showed something else. Now, it showed Earth's training camps. Hundreds of humans running in snow, fighting with knives, dropping silently from aircraft. No talking, no smiling. Just eyes filled with rage and purpose. Then came the final image. A black cube, sitting in blood. Now we are here. And we are not laughing. The screen went black. Panic exploded across the galaxy. Varnak Prime tried to launch its defense systems, but they didn't respond. All their codes had been changed. Their defense AI began playing a child's song from Earthasoft.
El Lullabyan.
In old Earth language. That's when the people screamed. In less than 3 minutes, 24 major government buildings lost power. Cameras showed nothing, just flickers. Lights going out one by one. When power returned, the buildings were empty. No guards, no leaders, no explanation. On the roof of the Grand Tower, a single word was spray-painted in red. Listen. The Krex homeworld saw the same thing. Their war satellites turned toward their own capital city and began sending threat signals as if someone had hijacked them. Shut them down, the general screamed. But it was too late. Their own systems had been cracked? By humans? By machines? No one knew, but Earth had learned their codes. Earth had been listening for years, in the Zorth capital. Hundreds gathered in prayer. These were the same people who once held Mock the Monkey Nights, where they wore human masks and laughed. Now they were crying. A single Ghost Division soldier was spotted on camera for the first time, only for 1 second, in the background of a crowded train station, wearing all black, holding no weapon, just watching. The footage went viral. And then, Galaxy did something no one thought possible. They stopped speaking the word human. Instead, they called them the Returned, as if speaking their real name might bring death. In the Galactic Senate, members of 19 species met to discuss what could be done. Should we offer peace again? One asked. Should we send gifts? Another said. No, whispered Elder Jarn, his voice shaking. They don't want gifts. They don't want to talk. They want us to feel what they felt. What do you mean? They want us to know what silence tastes like. That night, new video appeared. It wasn't broadcast by Earth. It was leaked. The footage showed an alien torture chamber. A human soldier hung upside down, bleeding, screaming. 3 alien scientists watched, laughing. Then the camera zoomed in. The human looked into it. His left eye was missing. His face was cut, but he smiled. We remember. The galaxy never slept again. Entire planets shut down entertainment channels. No one played jokes anymore. No one danced in alien bars. Even school children whispered stories of the Earth ghosts before bed. And then something even stranger happened. Earth asked a question. For the first time in decades, a message was sent from Earth's deep space signal towers, just for words. Do you remember us? The question hit like a bomb, because now everyone did remember. They remembered the humans who asked for peace. They remembered laughing instead. They remembered the silence that came afterward. And they remembered the soldiers who never spoke, but who were always watching. On one small farming planet called Anthrasix, a little alien girl looked up at the stars and asked her father, "Why are we scared of Earth?" The father, once a war pilot who dropped bombs on human cities long ago, looked down at her and said, "Because they forgot how to beg. And now they are here to make us remember." The Galactic Senate building was silent. Not the peaceful kind of silence. This was fear. Pure, heavy fear that made even the bravest feel cold inside. Leaders from 24 powerful species sat in a huge circular chamber. Some wore robes, some wore armor, some had claws, others had glowing eyes. But none of them spoke. All of them were watching the same screen. The video was short. 20 seconds in it. Single human soldier walked through a destroyed alien fortress. Smoke, fire, dead guards everywhere. The human didn't look at the camera. He just walked forward, calm. In his hand he held a silver tag, the kind worn by galactic war generals. He dropped the tag, stepped on it, and walked away. No sound. No voice. No warning. The screen turned black. A Zarnai leader finally broke the silence. How did they reach High Fortress 9? That planet was protected by orbital shields and 7 strike fleets. Council looked at each other. No one had an answer. That fortress had never been attacked in 300 years. Not once. It was considered impossible to breach. But now Earth had walked right in, not walked out. The silence returned until someone whispered. We mocked them, and now they mock us. Some remembered the day Earth's people begged for help centuries ago. Their home was broken by war, poisoned by greedy alien trade, and laughed at when they cried for mercy. Now they weren't crying. They were reminding. A senator from the Dragari race, known for its brutal past, stood up. We must send them a message, he said. A true message of peace. Another voice interrupted. It's too late for peace. Everyone turned to see a Vornon spy master, someone who rarely spoke. They gave us a chance years ago. We laughed. They stayed quiet. That silence? It was not weakness. It was planning. There was a pause. Then he added, I've seen reports. Planets near human space are being emptied. Tyre base is gone, not destroyed, just gone. Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed through the chamber. Everyone froze. The chamber AI spoke in a calm female voice. Emergency transmission from JAXA 3. The video feed opened. A shaking alien officer appeared on screen. They're here. Earth ships. Thousands. We didn't even see them coming. The screen cut static. Then nothing. JXA-3. It's the Senate's third most important supply world. It's gone in less than a minute. The Senate screamed orders. Back on Earth. A man named Commander Reese stood before a large screen deep in the mountains of New Alaska. He was tall, gray-haired, and silent as always. Round him stood Ghost Division leaders each, one trained since childhood, each one a weapon. Reese raised a hand. I want silence to continue, he said. Let them scream. Let them run, but we won't talk. His officers nodded. Earth's greatest strength wasn't its weapons. It wasn't the ships. It was memory. Humans remembered everything: the betrayals, the insults, the mocking videos shown across the stars, children wearing fake monkey suits on alien talk shows, human cities turned into joke tourist traps. All remembered, all written in blood. A soldier stepped forward. "What if they beg again, sir? What if they kneel this time?" Reese looked him dead in the eye. "Then we remind them. We begged too." Not no one listened. Across the galaxy, strange things were happening. Old space stations, long thought abandoned, lit up again. They were filled with Earth's AI. Mining planets discovered entire oceans drained overnight. Their water turned to fuel. Spy satellites stopped responding. Alien warships turned and crashed without being touched. One question echoed in every mind. How are they doing this? The answer came from an unlikely place. Dr. Halleck, a Zener scientist who once worked on human DNA experiments, stood before the Science Council with shaking hands. "I know what's happening," he whispered. "Speak," said the council. "I studied humans. I thought they were simple, emotional, weak. But their emotions, they change their brains. They adapt faster than we do. They feel pain but use it to evolve. When we broke them, we taught them how to become something more." "What are they now?" someone asked. Halleck looked around, sweating, then said, "They're not human anymore. They're becoming something worse, something smarter, something unstoppable." The council laughed until the lights turned off. For 10 seconds, there was blackness. When the lights returned, every screen in the room showed a single sentence. "We are awake now." The council never laughed again. In the Outer Rim, a group of alien warlords gathered on a pirate ship. They'd once hunted humans for sport. One of them scoffed. "What's the big deal? It's just Earth. We can wipe them out like before." His second-in-command frowned. "Sir, this isn't the same Earth." "Oh." The second-in-command pulled out a small black box, pressed play. It showed their home station, completely dark, not destroyed, just disabled. Silent, every door locked. Every power cell frozen. It's inside. Every crew member asleep. Not dead. Not hurt. Just asleep. For days. Sleep gas. The warlord asked. "No," said the officer. "Dream tech. Human tech. They call it peace." The sun never rose on the planet Cairo 7 that day. A cold wind blew across its once busy cities. Skyscrapers stood like broken bones. Ships floated dead in the sky. Streets were full of silence and ash. There was no war, no bombs, no blood, just silence. But every building, every station, every computer screen showed the same message. "You laughed at our pain. Now feel what we felt." It was signed, Earth. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy no longer looked down on humans. It looked up and feared them. In the Galactic Senate, panic had turned into chaos. Systems were failing. Entire fleets disappeared without battle. Communications jammed. Weapons wouldn't fire. AI turned on their creators. No species was safe. And still, Earth said nothing. Until today, on the edge of known space, a message was sent. A single audio file. No encryption, no demands, just a voice. A femalevoice.com, human. "This is Earth," it said. "You laughed when our cities fell. You cheered. When our children starved, you called us animals. Now we respond." The message ended. No threats. No countdowns. Just silence again. But the message itself is terrifying, because now the galaxy knew Earth. It was not hiding anymore. Earth was watching, in the command room deep under the surface of Mars. Commander Reese stood in front of a black screen. Around him, generals from all Terran colonies waited. Reese spoke. For years we waited. For peace. For respect. For a seat at the table. They gave us crumbs, and then kicked us when we reached for more. He pointed at the screen, showed old footage, humans begging for help from alien powers and aliens. Laughing, we won't ask again. Officers nodded. None of them needed orders. They knew what came next. This wasn't war. This was justice. On planet Braylax. Supreme Chancellor Joran, one of Earth's oldest enemies, paced in his palace. His claws clicked on the metal floor. We underestimated them, he growled. How did we let this happen? An aide ran in, out of breath. Sir, it's your daughter. What about her? She's missing. Joran froze. He turned. To his screen, it flickered to life. A short clip played. His daughter sat in a chair and harmed calm. She looked into the camera and said, They don't hurt people, Father. They show you your own darkness. I saw what you did to them, to their children. I was taught to hate them, but I was wrong. The video ended, and a line of text appeared. We don't destroy, we reveal. Joran collapsed into his chair and cried, across the stars. Hundreds of similar stories unfolded. A warlord opened his eyes and saw the family of a boy he once sold into slavery, standing in a dream, silent. A politician found every lie he ever told, printed on his own skin. A soldier woke up with the screams of those he tortured echoing in his head. Not screams of pain, but of betrayal. This was Earth's revenge. No fire, no bullets, only truth. Back on Earth, children played outside again. Skies were clear. Oceans clean. Cities rebuilt. But everyone was quiet. Not out of fear, but respect. They remembered. And now the galaxy did too. Dr. Elise Tanaka, Earth's top scientist, sat in a lab deep below Tokyo. She looked at a screen that showed all the alien worlds Earth had touched. Her assistant asked, Was this the only way? She replied no, but it was the only way they'd understand. They might fight back. They won't, she said. Not because they can't, but because they finally feel what we felt. Powerless, alone, humiliated. Her voice cracked a little. Now they'll listen. A week later, the Galactic Senate requested a meeting with Earth. It had never happened before. Earth always begged for meetings. Now, the galaxy begged for one. The meeting was held in neutral space, aboard a giant ship. Known as the Eyeware, no weapons worked, and no lies could be told. Ambassadors from every major species came, some proud, some ashamed. And then Earth arrived. Not with fleets, not with weapons, just for humans. 3 men. 1 woman dressed in gray. The room fell silent. One alien leader said, What do you want from us? The lead human, a woman named Zara Holt, stepped forward. We don't want tribute. She said, We don't want power. Then what? We want truth, she said. We want every record unsealed, every insult made public, every child taught what you did to us. The aliens looked around, that's all. No, Zara said, her eyes sharp. We also want the galaxy to know this is not a war. Then what is it? She leaned forward. This is a lesson. The galaxy had mocked humans for centuries. Now, the mocking had stopped. In its place was memory. And memory would last forever. The great halls of the Galactic Senate, once filled with arrogant laughter and booming voices, were now quiet. Aliens, who once mocked Earth's weakness, sat in cold silence. Their faces were pale, their eyes filled with fear. Across the galaxy, whispers spread faster than any ship could travel. Earth has returned, but not with war. It was worse than war. They were using something, stronger truth, and the truth was eating the galaxy from the inside. On the planet Durano 6, a judge from the Eretic species, who once sentenced thousands of human prisoners to slow death, woke. Up in his palace, he walked toward his mirror and screamed. His face had changed. It wasn't physical. Skin was the same. The eyes were his own. But every time he looked into the glass, he saw the faces of those he'd judged unfairly. Human eyes, human tears, human screams. They never stopped. He tried smashing the mirror. It didn't help. He ran into the streets, begging for help. But the people only backed away, because they saw it too. Earth had found a way to show the truth even through others' eyes, and once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it. On the mining world of Tranwar 9, an old commander named Grolt barked at his soldiers. Prepare defenses, they'll attack us next. But his ships wouldn't move. His weapons didn't. Activate. His own AI spoke back to him. I won't obey someone who tortured children. Grolt froze. How? How do you know that? The AI replied, calm and cold. Earth made sure we all know now. And then the base lights shut off. Not because of Earth, but because truth has. Wait, and every lie Grolt told had become a weapon. On Earth, no one celebrated. There were no parties, no dancing in the streets. This wasn't victory, this was balance. Commander Reese stood at a quiet memorial on New Earth Station. Around him were holograms of the 50,000 executed. Humans, children, mothers, farmers, doctors, artists. They had been betrayed by the galaxy. He touched one of the holograms. Gently. I hope you're watching, he whispered. They finally feel your pain. Behind him, Elise Tanaka walked up slowly. They begged for mercy then, she said. And now they beg for answers. Reese nodded. But we aren't finished. A strange event began to happen. Across the galaxy, people started confessing. Leaders released secret files about their actions against Earth. Old war criminals turned themselves in. Alien scholars published ancient documents showing how their species once enslaved humans. Some even began to apologize publicly because they were afraid, not of being attacked, but of being seen. Earth had created something no one could fight. Conscience, and for many species, it was the first time they had one. The Vorthok Empire was the worst. For centuries, they had ruled half the galaxy with an iron fist.
Ow.
Their history was built on blood, and they had laughed the loudest when Earth was burned. Now, they were silent, because Earth had exposed their darkest crime. Secret planet called Red Zone 43 where Vorthok scientists used human prisoners for biological tests. Everyone denied it existed, but Earth released a live feed. Every lab, every room, every scream, broadcasted across the stars. The Vorthok Chancellor watched in horror as the truth went viral, and then Earth sent a message. This is what you called science. The Chancellor resigned. The Empire's Council begged Earth for peace, but Earth didn't respond, not yet. On a peaceful moon in the Tular system, a young girl named Nina Hybrid Human Velar Child stood in a school courtyard. All her life, she had been bullied because of her human blood. But today was different. A group of alien children stood before her, silent. One of them, who had spit on her weeks ago, stepped forward and said, "I'm sorry." She didn't speak. He gave her a small metal flower. "From Earth," he said. "I found it. I kept it hidden, but I want you to have it now." Tears rolled down Nina's face. Something had changed. Not just in laws or politics, but in hearts, back in space. The 4 human envoys returned to Earth after their meeting on Yai. They said nothing to the cameras. They walked through silent. Crowds, people reached out, not to cheer, but to touch the ones who had shown the galaxy what it truly was. That night, Zara Holt, the leader, stood alone in her quarters. She looked out at the stars, so many of them had once been full of hate now. Some shined differently. A message appeared on her tablet. It was a personal one. From the young son of a diplomat on Rilan-5, it read, "I used to think humans were weak, but now I want to be one. Thank you for showing us what strong really means." Zara smiled softly. This was why they did it, not for revenge, but for understanding. But something else was happening. In the darkest corners of the galaxy, others watched. Those who had not mocked Earth, those who had stayed silent. Those who agreed with what Earth was doing. They were watching closely, and they were preparing to act, because the fall of the arrogant powers meant a new order could rise, and Earth, whether it wanted to or not, had become the symbol of resistance, face of truth, the voice of pain, and the sword of justice. The lesson had begun, but the test was still to come, and this time the galaxy would be judged. In the dark corners of the galaxy, ancient powers stirred. Not everyone was afraid of Earth's return. Some had been waiting. They watched as empires fell one by one. They watched the mighty crawl on their knees and beg for Earth's forgiveness. They watched the Vorthok burn their old laws. They watched planets tear down statues that once mocked humanity. But not everyone wanted peace. Some wanted revenge. Some feared Earth because Earth had done what no one else could do, exposed the truth, and truth was more dangerous than any weapon. In a forgotten asteroid field near the rim, an old warlord named Kravax met with 6 others. They belonged to an ancient alliance called the... They were the ones who pulled strings. Now those strings were breaking. The entire generations are turning against us. Earth has infected the galaxy. Another shadowy figure with blue skin nodded. Their message is clear. If we do nothing, we will be next. Kravax slammed his hand on the table. Then we act first. Back on Earth, Commander Reese stood inside the new command center, orbiting the planet. It wasn't a military base, it was a response hub. Inside were data feeds from every corner of the galaxy, every message, every cry for help, every confession, every threat. All of it was being tracked. But something had changed in the last 48 hours. Too much silence. Whole sectors had gone dark. Reese narrowed his eyes. This isn't peace. This is preparation. Elise Tanaka stepped beside him. You think they're gathering? He nodded. Yes. And this time, it's not cowards. It's professionals. She looked at the screen. 1 red dot blinked, then another, and 5 more, all from systems that had never mocked Earth. That's wrong, she whispered. These places, they stayed out of the war. They never harmed us. Reese's voice was cold. That's why they're being hit first. In the Corlin system, a peaceful farming moon went dark. No warning, no survivors. It had helped Earth refugees during the execution years now. It was dust. The signal that reached Earth was short and chilling. Just 6 words. They know who helped you. And then, static. The hollow circle had begun its purge, but Earth was ready, unlike before. They didn't wait to be attacked. They responded, quickly, precisely, quietly, elite. Teams known as Phantom Units were deployed across the galaxy. They wore no flags. They gave no speeches. They left no bodies, but their message was clear. We see you now, in a secret facility under the black sands of Carthon. One of the Hollow Circle's labs was discovered. Inside were cloned humans bred to serve, modified to obey. But when the Phantom Unit arrived, something strange happened. The clones didn't fight. They saluted one of them. Barely older than a child, looked into the helmet of the squad leader and said, "We heard the stories. We waited. For you?" That moment was broadcast, and millions cried. Because even those born in chains believed Earth would come. And now, Earth had. Meanwhile, Zara Holt stood at the United Council of Species Rebuilt after the I meeting. This time, Earth didn't sit at the back. They stood at the center, and everyone listened. "We didn't come here to rule," Zara said calmly. "We came to remind you what you did, what you allowed, what you laughed at." A voice from the Vrek delegation asked, "And what do you want now?" Zara looked at them with steel in her eyes. "We want this to never happen again." She raised a small object. It was the memory stone. Every scream, every execution. Stored in one device. Stored in one device. Then she placed it on the table. "Look at it. Study it. Let it burn into your cultures, into your history, into your blood. Some aliens looked away. Others wept. A few stood and bowed their heads because Earth had turned its pain into a lesson, and the galaxy was finally learning. But back in the rim, Kravax wasn't done. The humans want mercy, he spat. They want history. I want silence. The Hollow Circle began planning something terrible. Not just an attack on Earth, something worse. They had found an ancient artifact buried under the ruins of Velen Prime. A weapon not meant to kill, but to erase. To delete memories across galaxies. To wipe out all records of Earth's pain. Make it as if it never happened, so the cycle could begin again. When Earth's spies learned about the weapon, panic spread. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about truth itself, Reese gathered his top minds. If they erase the memories, the screams, the lessons, we become the villains again. They'll control the story again, Tanaka added. Then we don't wait. We strike first. Zarholt was given a choice. Destroy the weapon, easing another war, or expose the Hollow Circle, risking panic. She chose both. Operation Echofire was launched in silence, in 72 hours. 4 Phantom units struck key Hollow Circle bases. They didn't destroy everything they stole. Proof, names, faces, audio, video coordinates, and they broadcasted it across every known system. Billions watched. In real time, as the Hollow Circle's leaders were unmasked, whole planets revolted. Even soldiers in the Hollow Circle's own armies turned on their masters. One screamed into the camera, "We thought Earth was weak, but they're the only ones who ever told us the truth." And that night, the weapon on Velen Prime exploded, destroyed from inside by one of the cloned humans. His last message: "I wasn't born free, but I will die that way." On Earth, silence fell again. Not from fear, but from shock. The war wasn't won by ships. It wasn't won by lasers. It was won by memory. And Earth had proven something terrifying. You can't erase us. We remember everything. Now the galaxy knew the shadows had reason to fear the light, because Earth wasn't just back. It had become the conscience of the stars. The galaxy was quiet. Not the kind of quiet that comes from peace, but the kind that follows a storm so big no one dares to speak. Every screen on every planet was frozen on one image: the Hollow Circle, burning. Leaders once thought untouchable were now captured or dead. Secret bases were destroyed. Billions had watched them confess. The truth had spread like fire. Earth had not only answered the galaxy's mockery, it had ended the age of lies. Zarholt stood alone in the great hall of Earth's Unity Dome. The war was not official. No treaty had been signed, no final surrender. But everyone knew. It was over. The Hollow Circle had fallen. The puppet masters were exposed. The mocking voices were silent. Now the galaxy waited. What would Earth do next? Would they take revenge? Would they become rulers? Would they rewrite history? Zara pressed a small button. A message prepared for the galaxy began broadcasting. "We are not here to rule you. We are not here to punish you. Came back because you forgot we were human." In the Rim Worlds, a girl watched the broadcast with wide eyes. She had grown up hearing lies about Earth, that they were monsters, that they had deserved what happened, that they were extinct. But the last few weeks had changed everything. She had seen Earth soldiers rescue entire cities without firing a shot. She had seen them hug children, rebuild homes, and cry with people who once hated them. Now she turned to her father, tears in her eyes. "Papa, they're not what we thought." Nodded slowly. "No, they're better. In the city planet of Dreska, not because we're pulled down, not because Earth forced it, because the people themselves were ashamed." A group of young artists painted a giant mural on a wall that once said "Earth is trash." Now it showed a scene of Earth soldiers helping the wounded in a burning station. One artist added a single word under the image: hope. The mural went viral. It was copied on hundreds of planets. Even species who had never met a human before now saw them as something different. Not enemies, not victims, but examples. But peace was not simple. Deep underground, in what was left of a hollow circle vault, a final plan was uncovered. It was a list not of weapons, not of bases, but of names. Tens of thousands. Alien leaders, merchants, media giants, teachers, all of them had helped spread lies about Earth for centuries. Now the list was in Earth's hands. Reese looked at the data. So many of them, he said. Some still in power, some still lying. Tanaka asked. What do we do? Expose them all? Zara's voice came from the shadows. No. They turned to her. We don't expose them. We watch them. Confused, Reese asked, why not destroy them now? Zara looked at the screen, at the millions celebrating, mourning, remembering, because we already won. Not through fear, but through truth. Let the people choose now. They did. On planet after planet, protests rose. Governments fell. Schools changed their history books. New leaders were chosen not by power, but by trust. And every time, Earth watched silently. They didn't send more soldiers. They didn't build empires. They let the galaxy fix itself, because now everyone knew, if you lie, Earth will remember. If you hurt the innocent, Earth will return. If you mock the fallen, Earth will rise. But Earth wasn't done healing. Zara returned to the place that started it all. The execution grounds on Malvara-9, the site where 50,000 humans were killed in. Front of the galaxy. Now it was empty. No guards, no cameras, just dust. But as Zara walked forward, she saw something that stopped her cold. A flower, fresh, alive. Someone had been here. Then she saw more flowers, candles, and dozens of alien languages written by people who had once hated humans. One said, forgive us. We didn't know. Another, you showed us what it means to be human. Zara fell to her knees and cried. Not from pain, but because after centuries of silence, they were finally heard. A new alliance was formed weeks later. Not of war, but of memory, it was called.